What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a really good Tuesday. Really busy over here. A lot of different stuff going on, trying to improve stuff with the site. Did want to ask you guys if you do have any testimonials, please drop them into the winning section or DM me on in our Discord. We'd appreciate it. We're revamping the site, trying to make it look cleaner, nicer, and we're going to add some new tools and stuff and make some more stuff premium. So good for all, I think. Anyway. Guys, I hope everything's going well. Good to see you, Nick. We will talk a little bit about basketball, but we're going to start off with some baseball. Something to take note of real quick. Good to see you, K9. K9, drop in a little testimonial in for us. So we'd appreciate it from you sometime. You've been with us for a while, and always great to see you, man. Anyway, one thing I was going to play some Dodgers tonight. I think I'm going to come off of that a little bit because Mookie's out, and I just don't love the stack. It was something I was doing to try to get different. Not sure it's even necessary on a site this size. Outside of Pittsburgh and Colorado, I think you're going to have fairly spread out ownership. So that's the way I'm treating this. But with Mookie out because of the paternity leave, it's going to be tough for me to play to the Dodgers tonight. So that's one thing that I will note from my I posted my early builds. I just posted some updated builds in Discord. I'm probably going to get off the Dodgers for the most part. And I'm going to probably switch over to more Angels and Yankee stacks. But the main ones for me right now are Baltimore. I like Minnesota, even though I'm playing some Sale. And I was going to use the Dodgers and Texas with Pittsburgh, Colorado pieces. And that's probably not what I'm going to do as of this moment because it probably is what I'm going to do outside of adding the Angels and Yankees stacks. I also don't mind St. Louis. I'm not using many pitchers today. It's mostly going to be Gilbert, Strider, Snell, and Kershaw. I have it ranked Gilbert on DraftKings, Gilbert, Strider, on FanDuel, Strider, Gilbert. I will use a little bit of Stroman, but I won't be with the field on him. I'll use a little bit instead of going to the field on Stroman. I'm going to go to play guys like a little bit of, I don't have it in front of me right here. I'm probably going to get to some Sonny Gray. But that's pretty much my whole pitching pool on DK. On FanDuel, all I'm using are Strider, Gilbert, Snell, and Kershaw in that order. That's exactly how I like it, and that's the way I'm ranking them. I do think that this is going to be a tough game. And look, there's plenty of other places that could go off and everything. I particularly like this Coors game. And I know it's pretty popular. So my way of doing it is different than other people. People say to fade or play. I don't totally agree. I have a lot of three, either two Pirates, one Colorado, two Colorado, one Pirate, three of Pirates, three Colorados, mostly as complementary stacks to go with my lower owned Baltimore, Minnesota, LA, and New York Yankees, and then some Texas and St. Louis. But mostly the focus is going to be Baltimore, LA, New York, and Minnesota. That's what I'm going. Good to see my man Forrest in the chat. What's up, man? BBF is all in on Yankees, Pirates, Rockies. I'm totally. Hey, look, we're on same lockstep here. I like the Yankees. I can definitely get there. You got your winnings up. That's great. Yeah. Any few extra words you're cool with us using, just saying, hey, we appreciate what you guys are doing or whatever. Anything like that is just always nice to add if you get your permission. I'm sure that you'll be fine with it. But I just wanted to build out a little bit of a testimonial section. I appreciate that you updated that, K9. What's up to my man, Rich B? What's up, Remo? And let's get it. Let's get after it. So, yeah, the Suarez has been awful this season. It does worry me because I actually think he was on his way to becoming a pretty decent pitcher, and he's just been terrible as 2 starts. But it's 2 starts. Let's not get overly crazy. At the same time, I think the Yankees' ownership is too low. So I'm okay with going there. Obviously, you don't have, the Stanton bat in the lineup, which is a little bit frustrating, but you do have more value because you've got Volpe leading off, and then you've got Peraza. Having a really hard time not playing Volpe like here, Volpe, however I'm supposed to pronounce it. I've heard conflicting reports. And I think getting the Angels on the other side is more of a mini stack because of how good the Yankees bullpen is, makes a lot of sense to me. As I mentioned earlier, though, the Texas, Minnesota, and Baltimore, especially Baltimore, are all very, very appealing to me. It's hard because I actually have some respect for Josiah Gray as a potential pitcher, but he just walks too many guys and he gets himself in trouble with leaving the ball over the plate for some home runs. So I think that's why I'm going to end up doing it. I'm not getting to Cubs stacks, but they were another team that just missed for me. The Dodgers were a team that I was going to use, but probably not going to now, outside of maybe like an Outman one-off or maybe like a really mini stack from there. But their lineup is just not what you'd want to see. It actually would make me a little more interested in McGill if it was a different kind of slate. But those are pretty much all the guys I'm going for. I'm looking through my ownerships here. I've got an absurd amount of Mountcastle and Rushman and you'd say too much Cabrian Hayes, but I think I've got enough differentiators to get different. A ton of Cabrian Hayes, probably my most owned Pirate. Also have a decent amount of Santana and Crone, a decent amount of Connor Joe, tons of Santander, and I'm going to have to get in my Angels and Yankees, so I don't know exactly what percentage I'm going to end up with of that bunch. And guys, fire on any questions, because I don't have a whole lot more to add to anyone, especially the premium people, because they've sort of seen my most recent lineups. They know where I'm at, except for the one thing I'm going to change is add more Angels and Yankees. But let me know what you guys think about that, and I'm happy to jump into basketball whenever you guys go there. But ask questions about both. I can jump back and forth. Primarily, I wanted to start with baseball and then move to basketball. But baseball is fairly quick, and without some discussion from you guys, I can sort of just say what I'm doing and move on unless there's questions or thoughts you guys have. So Pingalore is saying, I was on the Royals against, and it's true. I did play some Royals. That was I think a significantly smaller slate. I have no problem with the Royals. I didn't, and they're another one. I mean, great hitting weather there in KC, 14-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to left. I have no problem with the Royals or Texas. I actually think that I might end up with some Royals mini stacks. I have like some with Pascantino and either Perez or Melendez, a couple with Franmil Reyes as a third man. So I have no problem with the Royals and KC. Those are two other ones you could use to get different. But I don't want to do what all the other shows do and talk about 19 great stacks. I want to focus on my Baltimore. I want to focus on my Minnesota, my LA and New York. And then I'm going to have all the pieces from Colorado and Pittsburgh, but probably not going full stack there unless I'm getting different with guys like Sonny Gray, Kershaw and FanDuel. I'm playing a 4-man Pirate stack. It was with the Dodger 4-man, so that was going to be low owned, but probably going to change that Dodger stack now. I do think Eovaldi is an interesting upside versus like down. Like I could see this going one of two ways. He just got rocked by this team the other day. He also struck out 7 in 5 innings. I don't think I'm okay with Eovaldi. I'm not personally like looking to try and desperately add more pitchers to my pitching pool. But as a pivot off of Blake Snell, who's got a horrible pitcher's umpire historically, I think that Eovaldi is a reasonable pivot, and I also think the Royals are a reasonable stack. You can get anybody you want in with Kershaw and Strider. It's really not hard to get players in today. Like you can do whatever you want. I mean, there's plenty of value just in the Coors game alone. There's tons of value. So like, I don't think it's ever going to be a problem to get in anybody on this slate unless you're trying to build a specific expensive stack. Like I did have trouble getting Judge into some of my lineups earlier, but I'm going to have to rework it and get some Peraza and Volpe. That's sort of the route to getting Judge. You could take a shot with Keller. I mean, I don't. To me, these are just other guys that we're mentioning. I don't like Keller has been okay. He's not like been great or terrible. It's not a great lineup that he's facing. And if you want to go that way, sure. Just be warned. The best hitting conditions on the slate are in Kansas City, and Brad Keller is a pitch to contact pitcher. He's not a high strikeout guy. Eovaldi is a much better strikeout guy than he is. I know Keller had a 7 strikeout game against Texas last time out. I'm not going to get carried away with it. My guess is this time Texas figures it out a little bit better. Everybody can get you Judge. You can get Judge if you do the right parts of the small stack. With the Yankees, the lineup the Yankees released, just play Peraza, Volpe, and Judge together. Like I personally am not going to get into a whole long thing about Brad Keller and Eovaldi. I think both of them are viable, and I'm not playing either of them. That's the truth. But I'm fine with it. No need to make a case for anything that we're agreeing with here. Like I understand BBF. If you're going to do it, go ahead and do it. I am not doing any of it personally. I have no problem with it, but I'm not doing it. I think Sale is definitely a better play than Eovaldi straight up. One thing that's funny about Sale is that there's this impression that his strikeouts are down. That's not the case at all. What's different about him this year is that his walks are up. He's walked what? Has he walked at least 2 guys in every start? But the strikeouts per inning are actually totally fine. The strikeouts per out are totally fine. It's just that he's been getting hit and he's been walking people. Pretty much simple as that, which is why I have some Minnesota stacks tonight. I also don't think Boston has a good bullpen, and I like taking players when they're playing in Boston, even when it's cold, but the wind is blowing out. I agree. The Rangers lineup is not. I mean, I'll tell you what. If you stack the Rangers yesterday and you're going to say that their lineup is weak today, their lineup is significantly better today than it was yesterday. Let's put it that way. Definitely a more appealing lineup than it was yesterday. Still not a great lineup, but I don't want to talk endlessly about that because again, it's just something I'm not doing. I could see an argument for the pitchers and hitters in that game, and I'm just not getting to much of any of it. I do think the hitting is a little bit more where outside just for the weather. Yeah, exactly. We can get Sale. I do think that Sale is in play, and like I said, on the other side, I think you should be playing some twin stacks. I think both can be viable, and today is one of those days. But for me, the team I'm siding with the most outside of the Coors games is definitely going to be Baltimore. I just think that my only concern with them is that they end up more high owned than they're being projected. It's definitely possible. I don't know. I think you might get double digits on like Mullins and Rushman, but then like Santander, you can't play all the outfielders. Then you've got a shortstop at 4,200, like in Mateo, that no one's going to play, batting eighth. People never play Adam Frazier. I would save him for 5-man stacks, but I do have him in a 5-man stack right now. Austin Hayes is going to be low owned. So there's a lot of ways to even get different within that Baltimore stack that I think is extremely viable. And the more I think about it, I do think I'm going to have to get myself some Yankees and some Angels because I just think the ownership is too low there. All right. With that said, guys, let me know if you're ready to switch over to basketball, and I'll sort of give you like a quick glimpse of what I've got today. I usually, look, I do a lot of stuff for the premium and everything like that, but I'm happy to show a few NBA lineups. Let's just see. Let me switch over my thing to NBA, and we will talk some NBA unless you guys have golf questions or thoughts. I don't think the industry is going to play the Braves. I think this is nonsense that you hear, Forrest, from people where they say, oh, Snell's pitching, let's go after him, and all this stuff. I don't think anyone's actually doing it for what it's worth. And also for what it's worth, while the Braves are awesome, and we all know that, I would say right now, that going forward, I would call them probably the best team in baseball. I don't think anyone is actually stacking the Braves. I think it's actually, sure, some people are going to, but I think you're talking about 5% or less ownership. So if you wanted to go that route, you can do it. A huge hitting downgrade. Atlanta's got one of the better hitters parks in all of baseball. San Diego, one of the worst, and it's cold. So it's not a great spot. But I'm just telling you right now, I don't see the industry playing heavy Braves. I just can't see that happening on this slate. All right, I'm going to jump over to share a couple of things on my DraftKings builds for basketball. I hate the FanDuel tournaments, so I never play the FanDuel playoff ones, but I love the DraftKings playoff tournaments. So I am getting after it, and you can see what I'm doing in just 1 second. I'm going to share my screen. Please, guys, hit the like and subscribe and all that stuff if you haven't already. We're going to share this picture right here. All right. So here we are. It's not sharing yet. So this is just a quick look at what my early builds look like. Now they're going to change a little bit, but the general thing I talked about is making sure to have one of Brogdon, White, or Smart, I think is a good idea. And I'm good with all three of them. Right now I have more Brogdon just because he's in the lineup I've got the most things with. It's going to end up being pretty evenly divided between them because of the ownership. I also really like Bogdanovich today because I think he's another creator who actually can prove effective against Boston. And he played 28 minutes the last game. That's good enough for me. He played well. They were better with him on the court than they were with him off of it. So I'm going to speculate on that. I'm also going to speculate that at some point, Cleveland will get their head out of their ass and realize that Karis, they don't need Karis LeVert. Okay. But the flip side is I think you probably should get some Karis LeVert if you're playing like 20 or more lineups, because I do think that there's enough upside. I am playing guys like Osman, and I'm going to get in some of the unfortunate Okoro because we need some value on this slate. I like what I did in this one lineup with the Hartenstein Plumlee. Those are two bench guys that have extreme upsides, especially if you play, hey, what if this is the Cleveland blowout game? What if this is the Phoenix blowout game? Completely possible. You're going to see a lot of these guys on the court, not to mention the guys in front of them have a propensity to get into foul trouble. So I think that's like a really interesting way to build and just a way to get different. This lineup's a bit more chalky, but another one that I like quite a bit. And I think just getting exposure to some of these fringy low-owned plays is a good way to go. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what I'm doing in the NBA. Pop in some questions. I currently don't have Tatum in there. I'd like to get a little bit of Tatum exposure. I currently I do like Jaylen Brown quite a bit tonight. I am worried about Atlanta hanging in the game as always against Boston because I just feel like it's a complete mismatch for them. But they're gonna shoot well in one game, and if you're gonna bet on that, it's probably not a bad idea to get a Trey lineup with Tatum on the other side. The hardest thing tonight, also, you want to play one of Mitchell or Garland. Mitchell seems like the obvious play, and I'm just surprised that he's not getting more love than he in the important games down the stretch. Look at these numbers. I mean, he's 96-200. Like, look at these freaking numbers. Look at his numbers in the last game here. It's going to be hard for me not to play Mitchell unless I'm playing Garland. That's just simple as that. I'm going to have to play there it is, Nick. I just said it. So Nick ahead of me on that one. But yeah, I'm going to be playing Garland and Mitchell together a decent amount. Just taking a quick look at some updates. I'm going to have to get Mookie Betts out of my lineup. So that's one we know about. I appreciate that, K9. Really do. Let's get it. Let's go. I really appreciate all that stuff. And I'll do something else just because K9's a FanDuel guy. I don't usually show these things on the show. I'm just going to do a quick one. Boop. And that is just scroll down on my FanDuel build. You can see I do have all Pirates in that. I do have Pirates and Rockies with Twins there, but I've got Kershaw pitching, which is going to be a little lower owned. And you can see I've got pretty heavy Twins exposure on FanDuel going after the sale play, even though at the same time I have 30% of sale on DraftKings. So this is just a quick look at what I'm doing on FanDuel before I get in trouble. I'm going to have to stop showing it, but that is just wanted to give you guys a quick idea. Rody's got to win with one lineup. That's going to be tough, man, but I'm pulling for him. Hey, you know what? I've seen you do it before, buddy. I've seen you do it before. You have to put those guys in one lineup and win with that one. No. Give it a shot. You know what? Do your thing. I know what you're talking about. Who do you side with, Jared Allen or Mobley? Good question, Nick. I like Mobley better, but I have no issue with Allen. I think they're both strong plays. I like Mobley a little bit better than I like Allen tonight. That's where I'm at. But it's very, very close, and I think the projections will like them pretty similarly. I think Mobley will make it a little bit more love, but I have Mobley a little bit ahead of Allen for what it's worth tonight. All right, guys, keep firing them on in. I'm probably going to be here just as long as you guys want to talk because I have to get to finishing my builds, and usually that wouldn't be a thing, but I really now I have a bunch of Dodger stacks I need to change. I've got a bunch of basketball that I need to finish up. I need to enter some more basketball tournaments because I'm not playing enough lineups in there, and I want to get a few more in there. Is there anything wrong with taking a chance on Ayton? No problem at all with Ayton. I actually really liked him initially and didn't quite get there because I just decided if I was going to play a Phoenix player in that range, and I know it's 1,000 more, I just sided with Chris Paul because I just feel like Chris Paul is getting 40 here. He's going to take the game seriously. I sort of like the idea of a Paul Westbrook lineup. This is for a 3-game slate, there's a lot of options in the NBA for this one. There's a lot of guys who far exceeded their price just in the last game alone. And it makes this slate kind of interesting to break down. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's 3-gamer as well, where we got the Lakers and see what's left of Memphis after I basically lost everybody. I do have some takes on the betting side of things. I did post my bets in the Better Takes Discord, and I posted them for the premium members. But I personally, one of the bets I really like tonight is, I'm just going to grab my bets. I had a basketball one that I was really high on. So it's just interesting. So Chris Paul, this is a very narrative thing, whatever. Okay, Chris Paul, 0-14 with Scott Foster in the NBA playoffs. And they're 8.5-point favorites to a team that just beat them. And they still haven't looked like they figured out entirely how to play together. The problem is, I could see Phoenix winning this game by 30. And I could see Phoenix being in a tight one down the very stretch. So I kind of like the Clippers plus 8.5. I love Cleveland minus 5.5 today. I think they win this game. I even would bet them minus 230. I think they bounce back and win here. I also like the under in the Atlanta-Boston game. And I like the, which by the way, 68 edge score on my unders. It's ridiculous. I also think that Boston, Sheets and I differed. Sheets likes Atlanta plus 10. I like Boston minus 10. That's where we are. Anyway, let's go, Nick. Let's get it, buddy. What stack do I like with Dodgers out? With Dodgers now? No, I don't like the Dodgers stack anymore. I'm off of the Dodgers stack. Will there be one that ends up in a small buy-in? Sure, but I am not playing Dodger stacks as a priority anymore at all. I will play some Outman. I will play a little bit of Muncie, and that's pretty much it. Pay up for Judge. Yeah, if you can get there. I mean, I absolutely like, I'm a fan of Judge, but I think that like you play Judge, Volpe, and Peraza, boom, you've got a 3-man, and then you can just add to it with Rizzo. You can add to it any way you want to. I like the Yankees. Just to reiterate, Baltimore being the preferred non-core stack. And now instead of the Dodgers and Minnesota, I'm switching more towards the Angels and Yankees with some KC and Royals. That's where I'm at right now, and I've got to go get those builds actually in because I haven't finished them yet. Sometimes it's interesting with baseball because we want to stack a team at the beginning of the day. Yesterday was a great example. We wanted to stack Texas, and it looked like a good stack. And we knew it was already a little bit thin without Seager. But then when they announced Garcia was out too, I was just like, it doesn't feel like a great stack. And of course, they go boom in the first inning, and then Jordan Lyles mows him down like he's Greg Maddux. It's just not as pretty of a lineup. So remember that just when you think about like even the Yankees with their historical numbers against lefties since Judge and Stanton have been there. You have no Stanton today, so it's not quite as great. But still, I like the value you get, and I like the Yankee Stadium, and I like the pitching matchup, and betting on that Suarez is maybe broken or still trying to figure it out. I do think he'll bounce back and be okay at some point. I just don't think it may not be anytime soon. And I like the Angels on the other side. I just don't like the Angels full stack because they're just so inconsistent, and the bottom of the order doesn't keep the lineup moving enough. So I like more if you can get a 3-man of the Angels. Obviously, you know who the main ones are, so I don't need to say it, but that's where I would be looking for the Angels. All right, any other QQs before I get out of here? Happy to answer anything. Any other thoughts or anything? Guys, remember, we can always use the testimonials and any screenshots of victories. We appreciate it. We're just trying to put some stuff together for our new site, so I have to be the one who asks you. We've already got some good ones up there, and we want to get you guys featured up there as well. So go ahead and do that. Also, you'll see probably in the next month, I think you'll start seeing some major changes to the site and our whole process. We're going to have hire some people to help us manage it. Just to want to make one thing clear to you guys, with all that we've done and all the work we've done, we're not taking any money out. Everything's going to go back into the site and back into making a better product. So if you guys have ideas of what you want to see more of, what you could really like would be valuable to you, even as offbeat as it is, please put it up there. Please put it in there in the Discord. Please DM me what you think would be a good thing for us. We really, really want to make this as the best experience as possible for all you guys. I also want to mention something else. People should take more advantage while they can of the, we have the awesome search tool that Evan created. I'm not going to go through the whole thing right now, but there's a search tool that we created where you can literally search and throughout the industry. It's called Around the Industry, and you just do a search in there. It'll pull you up. You do a search on, let's say you do trout, search trout. It'll show you what everybody from every major site is saying about them. I also will, you'll get an immediate clip to that part of the video that it's talking about them. It's an amazing tool. I think everybody should use it. If I first started playing DFS, I'd be all over this. Another tool that I think that it's really important to note that we haven't really talked about as much is we are the only site that's harnessing every information from throughout the industry and doing projections, and that's Goldie's projections. Sheets has his proprietary projections. We have the SaberSim projections. Then we've got Goldie's. Goldie's is literally what everyone else in the industry is saying. So I really think you guys want to take a look at this stuff and really use it to your advantage going forward. It's the most accurate representation of all the sites that you possibly could have between the three of those, but especially for Goldie's is just the aggregate from all the other sites. And I really want you guys to take a look at that because Goldie's done a great job. He also has incredibly in-depth, wonderful opening videos every day, almost every day for MLB. I suggest you guys watch those. Me and Cheats do our breakdown going game by game, but Goldie's is just as valuable, if not more so in some ways. And I want you guys to take a look at that. So just wanted to take care of a few of those things. Any other questions before I get out of here, please let me know. And a reminder, give us the site you want. The other, one of the things we're doing is we talked to Scott McCarty, who's going to be doing it with us next. We're going to try next week and find a time that works for everybody. But we're going to start these roundtable discussions at least once a month. It'll be sort of like a coaching session, lineup builds, and we'll talk about basically how we think about construction, how we use things in ownership. Sheets will be there. I will be there. At some point, we'll get Rhodey in there for some of it. We'll hopefully get some of our previous winners like Adam Perry and Oren back in there. And Mike Carr out here saying that Goldie's videos. Yeah, I agree, man. Those videos are freaking awesome. The guy's in depth. He knows his stuff, and he's really, really good at what he does. So we really, really value him here. So anyway, just wanted to go on a little tangent about all that stuff. If you guys want to, drop in any other thoughts, please do it anytime. We're always looking to make ourselves improve as a better site, a better one-stop shop for you guys. And with that said, it looks like the questions are drying up. I'm probably going to get out of here, but I will be in Discord for the premium members all night. And let's make some money tonight, guys. It feels like it could be a good night for us, and we want to have a sweat later on. Hopefully, we'll be sweating together in the Discord. And if we don't have a sweat, we'll be talking about the mistakes we made. So anyway, appreciate all you guys, and we'll see you guys at the top of the leaderboards. I hope. Good luck.